What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video. It's very early in the morning, but I'm trying to get out my content as fast as possible because I will be live tonight for the NHL draft at 8 p.m. Eastern on this channel. So make sure you subscribe or hit the notification bell so you guys can join in. I'm going to be talking about the draft, maybe some trades. We'll have to see what happens, but in this video, we're going to be looking at some NHL trade rumors from Spectris Hockey for June 21st. Now, I'm going to be trying to go through these fairly quick because there is a ton of stuff. There's actually two parts, so I will be linking both down below. But let's get right into it, starting off with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, if you can see this shirt, you guys know I'm a huge Leaf fan, but we're going to be getting into all the rumors for every team. And, well, most teams are in this two-part rumor mill. So the first part has a lot of the Leaf stuff. So the Leaf stuff will start this video off, and there's a good chunk. So coming from Chris Johnson, reports that the Toronto Maple Leafs general manager Kyle Dubas has said that he is not just going to offer or match every offer sheet. If there's a chance that it makes sense for his team to just acquire picks, or if the price makes sense for them not to match, then they're not going to do it. Which of course would mean guys like Mitch Marner, Kasperi Kapanen, and Andreas Johnsson could get offer sheeted. Dubas said, like I said, it would depend upon the amount of the offer and the compensation for the Leafs. The same applies to Kapanen and Johnsson. So the first bit was for Marner, and they're just saying if it makes sense for Johnsson and Kapanen as well, then they're going to have to let them go. So, Terry Koshin reports from the Toronto Sun that Marner's agent Darren Ferris doesn't anticipate difficult contract negotiations with Dubas, which is an absolute lie. It's believed Ferris seeks a deal comparable to Austin Matthews' 5-year contract, which shouldn't happen, but it probably will, which has an average annual value of $11.634 million. The Leafs have limited cap space, of course, to re-sign Marner, Johnsson, and Kapanen. Now, Koshin reports it's possible defenseman Nikita Zaitsev could be traded. However, an NHL source said that nobody's going to do them a favor, which I don't think anybody expected. Zaitsev has 5 years left on his contract with an annual salary cap of $4.5 million. Pierre LeBrun has also reported that the Toronto Maple Leafs could be moving wingers Connor Brown and Kasperi Kapanen to the Hurricanes for Brett Pesce. Now, this has been discussed for a long time now. The Hurricanes apparently want to keep Brett Pesce, which is what I told people all the time. I said that it does not make sense for the Hurricanes to make this move. People crucified me for it, saying that the Hurricanes would definitely do that. It looks as though that they're not interested in dealing Pesce, which I've said a billion times over. They're also trying to extend Justin Falk. Falk slated to become an unrestricted free agent next summer. If that doesn't happen, they could try to trade him. The Hurricanes are in the market for a top 6 forward. Now, I'll say it again, I'm not trading Kapanen for Justin Falk. Like, Falk is worse defensively than Jake Gardiner. I don't think people realize that, and Gardiner also puts up more points than him. I don't think Falk has had more than a 50-point season. I could be incorrect, but I do believe Jake Gardiner is the more valuable defenseman there. So there's no sense of us trading a guy like Kapanen for a Justin Falk. If they were putting together a package for Brett Pesce, that makes sense, but like I said, the Hurricanes are not interested. Regarding Zaitsev, there hasn't been a ton of new information on it, but it looks as though the Leafs are in a little bit of trouble when it comes to trading him. Now, Dreger has also reported that the Leafs are willing to listen to offers on Kasperi Kapanen and Nazem Kadri. They'd want a defenseman for Kapanen or a center for Kadri. It makes absolutely zero sense to trade Kadri for another center because you're likely not getting the same value back as a guy like Kadri. So I would shut down the Kadri rumors altogether because I'm pretty sure Dubas also stated yesterday they do not intend to trade Kadri. So I would shut down any Kadri rumor that you have. As for Kapanen, for a defenseman, sure, that makes sense. But you have to make sure it's not a guy that just puts up points. You need a guy that's actually defensively sound. That's why I said a guy like Falk doesn't make a lot of sense. So Dreger believes there's no question Brown is in play, which we're all expecting to happen. I expect Brown's not a Leaf by next week. The Leafs are still shopping defenseman Nikita Zaitsev, but it feels like less likely that he's a top priority for other clubs, which, again, makes a ton of sense. They're going to be looking at the UFA market probably before trading for a guy like Zaitsev unless it provides them a sweetener. Now, Bob McKenzie reports it will be complicated for the Leafs to move aging winger Patrick Marleau if he wants to return to the San Jose Sharks. It would take a third team acquiring Marleau. They would have to buy him out the remaining year, $6.25 million of his contract, and then he would sign an affordable deal with the Sharks to would have to agree on. Now, a lot of people, again, there were people commenting yesterday saying that I was incorrect, that you can buy out Marleau's contract. You can buy out Marleau's contract. The Leafs are not going to do that. The reason why is because the cap hit stays against the cap. You cannot fully buy Marleau's contract out. Because he is 35 or older, his cap hit will stay on any team that buys him out, so the full 6.25. But you can still buy him out for a team like Arizona or Ottawa or New Jersey, whoever. All these teams that have a bunch of money for cap space, you can buy that contract out if a sweetener is attached to Marleau, which a lot of people anticipate would be a guy like Johnson or Kapanen. I don't think the Leafs want to do that. I think Bracco, if they have to, would be a smart way of doing that, and I know people don't like that either, but if you need to clear out cap space, you got to do it. I think the Leafs are starting to panic a little bit, and that's just what you're going to have to do. If Marleau only wants to go to the Sharks, then there's a huge problem there for the Leafs, because before it was, oh, he'll accept a deal to other teams around, to be able to be close to his family. But now it's like, okay, you need to trade me to a team that can buy me out so I can go to the Sharks. It's going to be a little difficult. Apparently the Arizona Coyotes were, a team that could be into this, but it would definitely have to be a huge sweetener. I don't think the Leafs want to do that. Yeah, and Dubas also suggested that Marleau has a strong chance of being a Leaf next year, so what that tells me is that they're not very close to a deal whatsoever. So, moving on to the Pittsburgh Penguins and Chris Letang. Apparently he could be a guy that's available. He's 32. Jim Rutherford doesn't want to just give him away, but he could be available. He's got 3 years left, I believe, on his contract with an AAV of $7.25 million. Well, he signed through to the 2021-22 season, so yeah, he's still a decent defenseman, but I don't think Jim Rutherford wants to just give him up. They've done pretty well with keeping him around, so we'll have to see where that goes. There's not a ton of information on that right now. Moving on to Vegas, apparently they are going to be shopping some of their talent, some of their big talent that they just got, basically. Max Pacioretty and Paul Stastny. The Golden Knights are already at the salary cap, although George McPhee has said that nobody should panic, that they already know what they're going to be doing. They're still over the salary cap, which is clearly a problem. It could come lower than $83 million, the cap, so they really need to do something. He feels, Johnson said that his gut feeling could be Pacioretty or Stastny could be moved, but they've basically responded saying that it would most likely be a defenseman, and all eyes are pointing to Colin Miller, who has a cap hit of $3.875 million. That would at least relieve some of their cap space, and they can move another one of their depth forwards. Keep in mind, they still have to sign William Karlsson, and there's a lot of people that feel he's going to get paid big time, so they still might have to move a Pacioretty or a Stastny, because they don't just have William Karlsson. There's some other players on that team that need a deal, so we'll have to keep checking in with the Knights. Now, Darren Dreger apparently said that the Colorado Avalanche are interested in moving Tyson Barrie, or there could be a Tyson Barrie trade at some point. There's also some rumblings on Carl Soderberg. I'm not going to quickly jump on the Tyson Barrie trade train, because again, he's a good offensive guy, but defensively he's not the greatest, and he's also been rumored to be traded for the past 2 or 3 years. So I don't think that we should put too much into this, because we're not really sure if he's actually on the market. As for Soderberg, he's a guy that I think the Avalanche would want to keep, but we'll have to see. Jake Gardiner apparently could be looking for $7 million per year, or close to that. Kiprio said the starting price for Jake Gardiner is $50 million over 7 years, and Jim Benning of the Vancouver Canucks might seriously consider it. Now, Gardiner could definitely improve Vancouver's power play numbers. He could also improve their team defense. Now, a lot of people say, oh, that's ridiculous. No, but the Canucks don't exactly have the greatest blue line ever, and I know Gardiner's not a defensive defenseman, but let's be real. There's been games where he's actually been pretty solid, and if you look at advanced numbers, Gardiner's numbers defending aren't actually that bad. It's just Leaf fans overblow it all the time, because Morgan Riley on 5-on-5 actually has worse defensive stats than Jake Gardiner. So that's a lot of money for Gardiner, but I'm very happy for him, and he's going to get paid big time. So moving on to part 2, Pierre LeBrun believes that Marc Bergevin could be inquiring regarding Shane Gostisbehere from the Philadelphia Flyers. They're listening to offers on him, but this rumor kind of doesn't make sense. The Flyers have been shopping and moving around their defensemen quite often here. We know that Gudis has been traded. You know, they brought in Niskanen. They just made that Hayes deal. He's a forward, of course, but there's a lot of moving pieces. I don't know. Unless the Canadians really give them a solid package, I think the Flyers are going to hold on to Ghost. There's also been some rumors that maybe they go after TJ Brody. That's what Spectors Hockey here is saying. So Nick Leddy could be an option. We'll have to see where that goes. But for now, I think that they're going to want to keep on, hold on to Shane Gostisbehere in Philadelphia. Darren Dreger reports that Jim Benning is seeking an experienced blue liner via the trade market. Tyson Barrie could be a guy. They're also listing Tyler Myers as a guy, but he's a UFA. Benning has the 10th overall pick in this year's draft. This is the Spectors' note. Maybe he'll dangle that as trade bait for a quality rear guard today. I don't believe that he will trade that pick, but anything can happen with Jim Benning. I think that they're going to go after one of Myers or Gardiner. I don't think they'll go after both, but that would be pretty interesting. LeBron also said that the Columbus Blue Jackets have not made an offer for pending UFA Matt Duchene, but remain interested in keeping him. Duchene's agent, Pat Brisson, will start fielding calls from interested clubs on Sunday and Monday, and from there, they'll decide what their plans are. Duchene could very well stay in Columbus. They have a ton of cap space, especially because Bobrovsky and Panarin are most likely leaving. So I don't want to say we'll have to see, but we will. We'll have to see with pretty much everything on this list. Kreider's days numbered with the Rangers. That's a headline here from the New York Post. Larry Brooks feels Chris Kreider's days with the Rangers could be coming to an end. The 28-year-old winger is a year away from UFA eligibility, and there have been no contract extension talks between the two sides. So I know a lot of Rangers fans really like Kreider, but Brooks speculate the Kreider camp could seek a 6 or 7 year deal worth $6.75 million per season. Could be a little more than that, to be honest. Although he's been inconsistent, it says here, he could definitely fetch them a first-round pick or a decent package. I think Kreider's a really interesting name that we have to look at this weekend. I don't believe he'll be traded, but Kreider could definitely improve a team's offense if he can stay consistent. I touched on it yesterday, but the Oilers are apparently fine letting Puljujarvi go to Europe if he's going to go play there, because the Oilers are in no rush to really make a huge trade, getting rid of Puljujarvi, because more than likely they're not going to like the return because his value is not very high right now. They're probably focusing on the Lucic swap if it's possible, but it doesn't look like it. We'll keep in touch with that. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I actually tried to reach out to some people regarding this, and I didn't get a response because I'm just a YouTuber. But it would have been cool if I could got some inside information on that, but it's looking more and more like they're okay with letting him go to Europe, or they're just going to hold on to him for now. There's some stuff on Burakovsky here. Maybe he's a guy that could get traded. Other than that, Pierre Dorian, the Ottawa Senators GM, is interested in taking on some salary space, salary cap space. Jesus, guys, sorry. It's very early, and I've had to get through this really quick because I am super busy today, and I want to make sure I'm streaming on time. But it's believed that the Senators will take on salary if they're given a sweetener in the deal that could be a top prospect or a first-round pick. Now, I'm not sure what kind of contract they're looking for, but I don't think teams are willing to give up a top prospect if the Senators are just taking on a 1 year of a contract. It doesn't make any sense. Like a lower pick than that and like a decent prospect probably makes sense depending on the deal. If it's like a 5-year deal, sure, yeah, you're taking on a bunch of stuff. But if it's like a 1 year deal that you're probably going to buy out, like, you're not going to get a first and a top prospect. That does not make any sense. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It's quite long, but there's a lot of information in here. Make sure to check out Spectors Hockey down below and be ready for my live stream tonight for round 1 of the NHL draft. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next video or the stream tonight. Peace.